basically, part one, we discussed the history of these people that are in the land currently, whether they be like the Edomites or the Ishmaelites. We went over Joel 3, where it talks about them parting his land. We went over Luke 21, verses 20 through 24, where it prophesies the Israelites being scattered into all nations, as well as in Jerusalem being trodden down by the Gentiles, as well as going into how that fit with Deuteronomy 28:64. Then we went into history with like 70 AD with Titus Vespasian. And then in part two, we more so went into history with like the sub-Saharan slave trade, as well as the transatlantic slave trade. We went over their histories. And now for part three, I really wanted to go into like their religious texts to like see what is written in their books that allows these events to take place. So I thought that would be like a good lesson to go over. First one, Leo, if you have it, can you read? And this is for Judaism. Can you read about the those people that converted from that book I sent you?
The guy was talking about the 5% thing. The 5%.
What's the name of the book? Again, it's quite noisy over here. So, which book? The Edom.
Esau Edom.
Okay.
Esau Edom. Or Salaki, if it's noisy over there, I can read while it's noisy. If you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to read. I can just control it from my end to show the people on YouTube, but you're gonna have to read it. I'm sorry.
No, I got it then. I got it. All right, Con. So I'm gonna read just the first paragraph of page 5 of that book. Who is Esau Edom by Charles Wiseman. It says Esau was the firstborn of Isaac, and thus was heir to the birthright derived from the direct racial lineage to Adam, to Noah, to Abraham. Thus Esau was racially an Adamite, a Semite, and a Hebrew, the racial stock of the white race. So just wanted to bring that out to talk about who these people are before we, dive into their text, as well as page 23 of a book by Arthur Koestler. It's called The 13th Tribe. It says the religion of the Hebrews, and this is page 23. The religion of the Hebrews, writes Burry, had exercised a profound influence on the creed of Islam, and it had been the basis of Christianity. It had won scattered proselytes, but the conversion of the Khazars to an undiluted religion of Jehovah is unique in history. What was the motivation of this unique event? It is not easy to get under the skin of a Khazar prince, covered as it was by a coat of mail. But if we reason in terms of power politics, which obeys essentially the same rules throughout the ages, a fairly plausible analogy offers itself. At the beginning of the 8th century, the world was polarized between two superpowers representing Christianity and Islam. Their ideology doctrines were wielded to power politics, persuaded by the classical methods of propaganda, subversion, and military conquest. The Khazar Empire represented the third force. So, I wanted to get that because these people did not become Jews, quote unquote, because of, it was like a real religion or belief system to them. They really became so-called Jews based off of, just a wishful desire for like power in that region. So said all that to say this, but now I want to dive into the text. So if one of the two read, well, Azrael left. Miles, if you can get for me, all you have to do is go to safaria.org and look up Bava Kama 113a.
Safaria.org.
Con.
All right. And look, say that again.
Bava, B-A-V-A, space, comma, C-A-M-M-A, 113A. Now I'm going to, once you get there, I'll tell you what part to start at.
Okay. I see
what
Baba Kamal has a K though.
Did I say C?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yes, no K. My bad. I said that wrong.
Alright.
Yeah.
And so I'm there.
Yeah.
Chapter
113. A.
Alright, I'm there.
Alright, so scroll down. It'll almost be towards the end. It'll be a part where it says the Mishnah issues its ruling with regard to Gentile customs. That part will be in bold. It's like way down towards the end.
The Mishnah issues its ruling with regard to a Gentile customs collector. Is that what you want?
Con.
Alright. Whom one may deceive, as it is taught in Barayata, in the case of a Jew and a Gentile who approach the court for judgment in a legal dispute. If you can vindicate the Jew under Jewish law, vindicate him, and say to the Gentile, this is our law. If he can be vindicated under Gentile law, vindicate him, and say to the Gentile, this is your law. And if it is not possible to vindicate him under either system of law, one approaches the case circuitously, seeking a justification to vindicate the Jew. This is the statement.
You can rest right there. So basically, I wanted Miles to bring that out just to showcase that in the Talmud, it teaches them that they can have one law for their people and one law for everybody outside of their nation. So it shows that they can deal, unrighteously with people outside of their nation. The next verse I want you to get, can you look up, same website, Ketubot, it'll be Ketubot, and then it'll be chapter 11b.
Okay, Ketubot.
11b.
Can you say that again? Ketubot, is that right?
It B or
I see it. Okay.
Yeah, and it'll be 11b.
Okay, I'm there.
All right, from there, I want you to scroll down. It's not as far this time. It'll be a part where it says, and similarly with regard to a female convert or captive woman. I want you to read that paragraph.
In 11b, right?
Con.
Okay. Alright, yeah. And similarly, with regard to a female convert or a captive woman or a maidservant who were ransomed with regard to the captive, or who converted with regard to the convert, or who were freed with regard to the maidservant, when they were more than 3 years and 1 day old, their marriage contract is 100 dinars, and they are not subject to a claim concerning their virginity. When they married, their presumptive status was that of a non-virgin.
You can continue on into the part where it talks about the underage boy. Just read through that part.
Rav Yehuda said, a minor boy who engaged in intercourse with an adult woman renders her as one whose hymen was ruptured by wood, as the act is not considered full-fledged intercourse. Rav Yehuda continues.
No, you can end right there. You can rest right there. So they're literally telling you in their book that if a boy has sex with like an underage boy has sex with a grown woman, or a grown man has sex with an underage girl, that they can enter into a marriage. Well, the man can enter into a marriage with that 3-year-old girl, that's very vile and disgusting. So I just wanted to bounce that back with a verse out of the actual scriptures, Matthew 18:6, which reads, "But whoso shall offend these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he drowned in the depth of the sea." So we know that the little ones, that's physical and spiritual, the understanding of that verse. But, the Yahweh Shah would never have us or teach, us to do anything like that. That would be an abomination with like a child. So just wanted to bring that out. The next one I want you to get, if you can get, it'll be Gittin, Gittin.
All right. I got it.
56B. Start at 56B, and I'll tell you where to go from that point.
All right.
All right, so scroll down. It'll almost be like halfway down. Trying to find the point again. Start at actually start at the top on this one, because I think it needs. No, actually, no. Skip that first part again. Start it in the meantime. It'll be like in the middle of the page.
You said in the meantime?
Yeah, it'll be in bold. Yeah, kind of.
In the meantime, as they were talking, a messenger arrived from Rome and said to him, "Rise, for the emperor has died, and the noblemen of Rome plan to appoint you as their leader and make you the next emperor." At that time, Vespasian was wearing only one shoe, and when he tried to put on the other one, it would not go on his foot. He then tried to remove the other shoe that he was already wearing, but it would not come off.
All right.
He said, "What is this?"
You can rest right there. I want to make a point just really quickly. This is the same Titus Vespasian that you read about in Babylon, Timbuktu, the history of basically what happened at 70 AD. So that's why I wanted you to start at that point. Now at this point, I want you to drop down, because this is going to be a man basically that's going to confront, quote unquote, 3 wicked spirits that have died and gone into the spirit world, aka hell, and he's trying to get their opinion on what to do towards like the Jewish, quote unquote, people, and what was their reward in the afterlife. So if you would drop down to Sakya. Always when I read these, I always have to parse through so many parts where they're talking about Rebbe Yehoshua, all this stuff. So Sakya, give me a second. Go to it'll be in bold. It says like who turns wise men backwards, that part.
Okay. Is it still in 56B?
Yeah, I haven't switched verses yet.
You said who turns wise men backwards?
Khan.
Okay. Slovakia.
No, actually, go down even further than that. That point isn't that relevant. Go down. It'll be towards like 3/4, towards the end, where it says he went and raised Titus. That part. It'll be like the end of 56B.
Okay. All right, I see it. He went Titus from the grave through necromancy, and said to him, Who is most important in that world where you are now? Titus said to him, The Jewish people. Onkelos asked him, Should I then attach myself to them here in this world? Titus said to him, Their commandments are numerous, and you will not be able to fulfill them. It is best that you do as follows. Go out and battle against them in that world, and you will become the chief, as it is written. Your adversaries have become the chief, which means anyone who distresses Israel will become the chief. Onkelos said to him, What is the punishment of that man? A euphemism for Titus himself in the next world. Titus said to him, That which he decreed against himself as he undergoes falling. Every day his ashes are gathered, and they judge him, and they burn him, and they scatter him over the 7 seas. Keep going.
Con. Keep going all the way through Titus, and then it'll get into like the next person that he raised.
Okay. Onkelos then went and raised Balaam from the grave of necromancy. He said to him, Who is most important in that world where you are now? Balaam said to him, The Jewish people. Onkelos asked him, Should I then attach myself to them here in this world? Balaam said to him, You shall not seek their peace or their welfare all their days. Onkelos said to him, What is the punishment of that man? A euphemism for Balaam himself in the next world. Balaam said to him, He is cooked in boiling semen, as he caused Israel to engage in licentious behavior with the daughters of Moab. Onkelos then went and raised Jesus the Nazarene from the grave through necromancy.
Con, so here's the point. Go ahead.
Onkelos said to him, Who is most important in that world where you are now? Jesus said to him, The Jewish people. Onkelos asked him, Should I then attach myself to them in this world? Jesus said to him, Their welfare you shall seek, their misfortune you shall not seek. For anyone who touches them is regarded as if he were touching the apple of his eye. Onkelos said to him, What is the punishment of that man? A euphemism for Jesus himself in the next world. Jesus said to him, He is punished with boiling excrement. As the Master said, anyone who mocks the words of the sages will be sentenced to boiling excrement.
All right, so I want you to rest there. That was the point. So for years we've had a lot of Jewish people be able to get away with a lie that in our book there's nothing about so-called Jesus or Yahushua as we know him. But literally that's an example, and there's more, but that's an example of them saying that he's literally in hell boiling in human, excrement. So, it shows you that it's not those people, it's not about them not believing in Yahushua. It's really about them hating Yahushua. So it's a reason that when you go into Revelations 3:9 and 2:9, that it refers to these people as the synagogue of Satan. But I'm going to continue with that. If you will, can you get Sanhedrin 43a, if you will, Baba Kasha?
Sanhedrin 43a. All right. Oh, 43a. Yep.
Okay, Con. So on this one, I want you to scroll down. It's towards the end. Basically, in this one, it's talking about. This is prior to that. This is talking about, Yahushua again in their book. Him being a student and him misleading the children of Israel. So they took him outside of a temple on the Sabbath and stoned him with stones. So, it's just really wicked as hell. Can you go? It'll be almost at the bottom where it says Gemara. It'll be in bold.
Okay. Gemara, Abaye says, and the crier must also publicly proclaim that the transgression was committed on such and such a day, at such and such an hour, and at such and such a place, as perhaps there are those who know that the witnesses could not have been in that place at that time, and they will come forward and render the witnesses conspiring witnesses. The Mishnah teaches that a crier goes out before the condemned man. This indicates that it is only before him, while he is being led to his execution, that yes, the crier goes out, but from the outset, before the accused is convicted, he does not go out. The Gemara raises a difficulty, but isn't it taught in a bar rayada? On Passover Eve, they hung the corpse of Jesus the Nazarene after they killed him by way of stoning. And a crier went out before him for 40 days, publicly proclaiming, Jesus the Nazarene is going out to be stoned because he practiced sorcery, incited people to idol worship, and led the Jewish people astray. Anyone who knows of a reason to acquit him should come forward and teach it on his behalf. And the court did not find a reason to acquit him, and so they stoned him and hung his corpse on Passover Eve.
So literally also, once again, in their book, it's teaching that one, they killed Christ by stoning him. Also in that text, might not be that text, it was in one of the verses I was reading, it talks about they stoned his 5 disciples as well. So now all of a sudden he doesn't have 12 disciples, he has 5 in their book. So yeah, it's wicked as hell. And they talk about hanging his dead corpse. So we've been lied to a lot of times, like, by Jewish people when they say that, oh, we just don't believe in, quote unquote, Jesus Christ or really Yahushua. No, the truth is they do believe in him and they hate him. So just wanted to bring that out. If you can, in the same book, Sanhedrin, get Sanhedrin 106b.
I'm there.
Okay, Khan. Scroll down, it'll be like more than halfway there. Well, actually, scroll up. I want you to get a little bit up into 105. The 17, where it talks about and Balaam, son of Beor, the diviner. Can you read that whole paragraph right there real quick?
Okay. So it's at the bottom of 105b. Let me see.
Yeah, it's the part where it's talking about Balaam, son of Beor, the diviner. That part should be in bold.
Salakia. Say it again. I see Balaam describes himself where he said Balaam the
Did you scroll?
son of Beor.
Did you scroll up from 106b into 106a?
Oh, you know what? I'm in 105.
So like I might have said it wrong. Yeah, 106b a.
Okay.
It's like right at the end where it'll be in bold.
I see it. All right. It is stated, and Balaam, the son of Beor, the diviner, did the children of Israel slay with the sword among the rest of their slain. The Gemara asks, was he a diviner? He is a prophet. Rabbi Yohanan says, initially he was a prophet, but ultimately he lost his capacity for prophecy and remained merely a diviner. Rav Papa says that this is in accordance with the adage that people say, this woman was descended from princes and rulers and was licentious with carpenters.
So that part right there where they're talking about licentious with carpenters, that's going into Mary in the Talmud, they describe her as a whore who had sex with many men, not just Joseph. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. This Balaam that they're referring to here will really be explained in 106b, but it's really Yahushua, and I had to do some digging to find this out. I'm going to read this. This is from the Jewish Encyclopedia 1925 edition, version 5, and it reads, the name Nicolaitans given to the Christian heretics holding the doctrine of Balaam, referenced in Revelations, 2:6 and 2:15, is derived from the Greek form of Balaam. It says Balaam given to Jesus in, and I can't really make this part out, but it's Sanhedrin 106b. So when they're talking about Balaam here, that's actually Yahushua. So they call Yahushua Balaam, the wicked one, in the Talmud. So if you will now, can you scroll down into 106b, where it starts off, the heretic said to him.
Is it at the top of this?
106b. It'll be like.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay.
A certain heretic said to Rabbi Hanina, "Have you heard how old Balaam was when he died?" Rabbi Hanina said to him, "It is not written explicitly in the Torah, but from the fact that it is written, bloody and deceitful men shall not live half their days. This indicates that he was 32 or 34 years old, less than half the standard 70-year lifespan." The heretic said to him, "You have spoken well. I myself saw the notebook of Balaam, and it was written therein, Balaam the lame was 32 years old when Phinehas the highwayman killed him."
So this is another, story in their Talmud where they're referring to Yahushua. Like they have him getting stoned to death. They have him being beheaded. They have him being, killed on the highway. So it's multiple passages where they actually do refer to him in a negative light, which we're gonna get more of them. But before we get the last one on Yahushua, I'd be remiss if I don't add this one in. Can you look up Yevamot, Yevamot, then it'll be 63a. This one I found, and it was to me kind of crazy that it's in their Talmud, and it's teaching something on Adam and Eve that's just off and wicked as hell.
Said 63a.
Con.
All right, Yevamot 63a.
All right, so now when you go down, start with a sentence that starts out, the Gemara relates that Rebbe Yosei encountered Elijah the prophet, that part.
Okay, the Gemara relates that Rabbi Yosei encountered Elijah the prophet and said to him, "It is written, I will make him a helpmate. In what manner does a woman help a man?" Elijah said to him, "When a man brings wheat from the field, does he chew raw wheat? When he brings home flax, does he wear unprocessed flax? His wife turns the raw products into bread and clothing. Is his wife not found to be the one who lights up his eyes and stands him on his feet?" And Rabbi Elazar said, "What is the meaning of that which is written? This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This teaches that Adam had intercourse with each animal and beast in his search for his mate, and his mind was not at ease in accordance with the verse. And for Adam there was not found a helpmate for him until he had intercourse with Eve.
Okay, so this verse is. I had to throw this in because I was honestly kind of confounded when I was doing my research for this one. That they literally teach that Adam had sex with the animals, and then after he got done, having sex with all the animals, then he decided, oh, okay, well, I'm not really satisfied. Let me get a woman. So, a lot of the stuff in the Talmud is just wicked as hell, and it really kind of spot shadows, who they are as a people. But I'm going to get this last one. If you will, can you go to Sanhedrin 107b this time?
You said 103?
No, 107.
Okay.
107b.
I'm there.
All right. Not this whole time I did not realize on the left-hand side they had the verses. So to make it easier, just go to 13 and read from there.
They have verses.
If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see it when you're scrolling on like Safari. Or if you don't see that, then just go to. You see it?
Yeah, I don't see it. No.
Okay. Scroll down to the part where it says Egypt, my sister. That'll be in caps. I mean in bold. It's like 3/4 down, so you might have to scroll down just a little bit to find it.
Okay.
While he's getting that out, let me explain why I'm going to this verse. This is a verse that they have in the Talmud that basically teaches that Yahushua got rebuked here for wanting to hit on some innkeeper's wife. So, every story that they have of Yahushua in their Talmud, he's like the most wicked person that you would ever encounter in your life. So, are you there, Miles?
You said 107B, right?
Correct.
Fuck, yeah. And I'm looking for Egypt, my sister.
Yeah, that part will be in bold. That's not what I want you to read, but that's like it's a long sentence that's in bold, so it'll be easier to find that way.
I'm not seeing it. Sanhedrin.
Do you have a mic in front of you?
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it. Don't worry about it, Miles. I'll read it. So, Yehoshua ben Pariah understood the message, arose, came, and happened to arrive at a certain inn on his way to Jerusalem. They treated him with great honor. Yehoshua ben Pariah said, "How beautiful is this inn?" Jesus, his student, said to him, "But my teacher, the eyes of an innkeeper's wife are narrow." Yehoshua ben Pariah said to him, "Wicked one, do you involve yourself with regard to that manner, the appearance of a married woman?" He produced 400 shopharot and ostracized him. Jesus came before Yehoshua ben Pariah several times and said to him, "Accept our, i.e. my, repentance." Yehoshua ben Pariah took no notice of him. One day, Yehoshua ben Pariah was reciting Shema, and Jesus came before him with the same request. Yehoshua ben Pariah intended to accept his request and signaled him with his hand to wait until he completed his prayer. Jesus did not understand the signal and thought he was driving him away. He went and stood a brick upright to serve as an idol, and he bowed to it. Yehoshua ben Pariah then said to Jesus, "Repent." Jesus said to him, "This is a tradition that I received from you. Whoever sins and causes the masses to sin is not given an opportunity to repent." And the master says Jesus performed sorcery, inciting the Jews to engage in idolatry and led Israel astray. So in this passage, basically, Yehoshua ben Pariah is Jesus' teacher, Yahushua's teacher, allegedly. And here he is rebuking him for hitting on an innkeeper's wife. And then he took a brick and sat it upright and worshipped it as an idol. And he also gets rebuked for sorcery. And they're saying he has no place of repentance, and like he's like an Edomite somehow. So I just wanted to bring that out just to show how wicked their book is, and just once again to showcase the fact that it's not that they don't believe in Yahushua, but it's literally that they hate our Messiah. So just wanted to bring that out for like the Talmud. At this point, I'm going to transition to the Quran. This part will be a little bit more difficult, so I'll probably have to read like all of these.
I'm here, King.
Oh, you got?
Probably got but I am here, so I can. I see the notes that you sent me, so I can probably click on and read some of them.
Oh, Khan. Okay, so can you bring out? Well, actually, I'll hold that then. No, all praises for that. Before I go into like the doctrine of their book and go into like a lot of the passages that are in there, I wanted to read like an excerpt from a book. This is From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. It says, incidentally, by the time, this is page 47, incidentally, by this time, the Hebrew Old Testament had been translated into Arabic, and the Arabs were rapturously pleased to read about their great ancestors and the story of the Hebrew patriarchs. This fact alone helped Muhammad to inspire in the Arabs the feeling of nationalism and racial pride, because they had read in the Hebrew scripture that Ishmael was to become a great nation. So these people have always known who they are and who they were and about like their ancestors. So that was a major selling point for Islam. And though the religion of Islam is the Arab man's religion, it actually was created by a white man. So the first place, Ben, if you have it, can you get Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 1, number 63?
Where do you want me to start at the top?
Khan, yeah, the top.
While we were sitting with the prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque, tied its foreleg, and then said, "Who amongst you is Muhammad?" At that time, the prophet was sitting amongst us, his companions leaning on his arm. We replied, "This white man reclining on his arm." The man then addressed him, "O son of Abdul Muttalib." The prophet said, "I am here."
You can rest there. So the point of that, bringing that out, was to show that even in the Quran it shows that Muhammad was a white man. The next place, Ben, if you will, can you get Hadith 2, number 122?
This is okay. This is my father said, I heard I bin Umar
So, once again, that's like another reference in the Quran where it shows Muhammad to be a white man. I thought this was very interesting for the fact that um, he owned slaves, and I went into like the Arabic to try to like figure some things out, and I found something that was interesting to me. Um, Islam pushed slavery so hard during like the sub-Saharan slave trade that even like it's reflected even in like the Arabic language itself. For example, the word abd, abd, is their common word for black, but it literally means slave. So basically, they look at the two as interchangeable, and the next Quranic verse will actually show you the reason that they do look at black and slave as interchangeable. Ben, if you can get Sahih Bukhari, Volume 9, Hadith 256.
Salakia. Go back to it. You said volume 9, Hadith 256?
Khan.
Okay. All right. It says here, Allah's apostle said, you should listen to and obey your ruler even if he was an Ethiopian black slave whose head looks like a razor.
Khan. So, now we get to see like what they truly, think about us as like a people. Between like the Talmud and the Quran, like there's a lot of stuff in here that's one blasphemous, to Yahweh Shai, our Lord and Savior, but it's also, just very disrespectful and racist anyway. But it's interesting because their book even tells them to, believe what we say. So if you can grab, Ben, if you may, can you grab Surah al-Bukhara 2, 122?
Okay. Okay. You want me to start from the second line?
No, the first line. And can you get no, not Salaki. I thought you said line. I want you to read the Ali Unal translation of it.
Okay. It says, O children of Israel, remember my favor that I bestowed upon you by choosing prophets and messengers from amongst you and granting you a great kingdom, and by giving you a book and guiding you to the straight path, and that I once exalted you above all people.
So you'll see in the Quran certain aspects that they clearly stole from the Bible, this being one of them. And even the way when you like read it and it like kind of switches up, to me that kind of shows that the time period where at first, he's learning a lot from the Jews, Prophet Muhammad to be specific, but then it got to a point where they rejected his, Quran, and it became kill the Jews. So I want to give one more example before we get into like when things switched up, because there were a lot of Jews in that region where he was that had fled, north after 70 A.D. So into like the quote unquote Middle East. So if you will, Ben, can you get Quran? It's like Surah 1090, because this will be another example to show that they claim that they believe just like the children of Israel, but we're going to see very clearly in a bit that they do not.
This is 1090 of the Quran. It says,
So, they're claiming that, they believe in the God of the children of Israel. But, we're going to see very quickly that they really do not. And a lot of it was just written as a way for Muhammad himself to just basically justify a lot of his own personal actions and proclivities. So, if you will, can you get Surah al-Baqarah 2-173 now?
You ready for it, King?
Yeah, no, Kong, bring it up.
He has only forbidden to you dead animals, blood, the flesh of swine, and that which has been dedicated to other than Allah. But whoever is forced by necessity, neither desiring it nor transgressing its limit, there is no sin upon him. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful.
Now, us as people that adhere to the scriptures, obviously we know that's a lie. That the Most High would be merciful if you eat unclean things just in like a bad situation. So to set the premise, Ben, if you can, just in Leviticus, or I can bring it out, Leviticus 11:7.
I can get it for you, King. It's not a problem.
Okay, Con.
Give me 1 second. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 7. Book of Leviticus, chapter 11:7. And the swine, though he divided the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
Con. So, there it says plain upon tables, it's unclean unto you. Can you also read 7:23 through 24? Still in Leviticus as well.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 7, and verse 23. Speak unto the children of Israel, say, ye shall not eat no manner of fat of ox, or of sheep, or of goat. Verse 24. And the fat of the beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it.
Con. So it literally just said you may in no wise eat of it. So there's no permission for us to do that thing. If you will, now just to show once again how serious it was in our scriptures, can you get 2 Maccabees chapter 7 and just verses 1 through 2?
Select it. Again, King. 2 Maccabees 7.
Yeah, chapter 7, just the first 2 verses.
And from the top, gotcha. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, and from the top, it came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said, thus what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
See, so plain upon tables, they were willing to, give up everything in, their life as well, just to keep the commandments. So it's very important for us to do so as well. So I see that loophole as something that would be totally non-scriptural, and a fallacy if they're saying that we believe in the same God. Oh,
And just to say, Salakia, if you go to Second Maccabees 6, and you go down in that chapter, you read about Eleazar that also went to the death for refusing to just eat something that was they told him he could eat whatever he wanted just to make it look like he's eating something abominable, and he refused to do it. He went to the death, where he refused to eat anything that would even make it look like he was going against what the Most High said.
no, Khan, absolutely. It's a lot of examples in scripture where people were willing to give up their life rather than break the commandments. So if you will, Baba Kush, can you? Well, no, actually, I won't have you pull that yet. Well, no, actually, can you get Surah 29 and 46? Because a lot of times Muslims will sit in rooms with Israelites and argue with them about like the scriptures, but literally their Quran commands them not to even argue with us about doctrine. So, can you read Surah 29 and 46?
It says, you want the Malik version, right?
Yeah, Malik.
It says, do not argue with the people of the book except in good taste, except with those who are wicked among them, and say, we believe in that which is sent down to us, and that while is and that which is sent down to you, our God and your God is the same, one God to whom we submit as Muslims.
So they'll read, texts like that, and they'll say, "See, we believe in the same God," even though, I just gave an example of, our book telling us not to eat unclean foods and things that die of themselves, but them giving a loophole in the Quran. But it's going to get even worse with like a couple more of these examples. If you can get Surah 3 and 64, Baba Kashar.
It says, say, people of the book, come to a word common between us and you, that we shall serve none but Allah, and shall associate none with him in his divinity, and that some of us will not take others as lords besides Allah. And if they turn their backs from accepting this call, tell them, bear witness that we are ones who have submitted ourselves exclusively to Allah.
So they'll have verses like this, and they'll read them, and it'll sound nice, like we all worship the same God. But notice they'll never say we all submit and we worship Yahweh. It's just it always goes back to Allah. So they're really more so. These verses are in there as tools to proselytize Israelites instead of like reverse. Go ahead, Ben. I think you had something to say, King.
Oh, no, did you want me to read it, or that was just a part?
Oh no, yeah, that was just a part on for that one. But and they'll say that we worship the same gods, but in the same breath, can you get Surah 5 and 51? Because in the same breath, their book two chapters later is literally telling them that they can't be friends with people that follow the God of the Israelites. So it's just kind of scatterbrained to believe that we believe the same God. That's just madness to me.
Okay, it says, O believers, take neither Jews nor Christians as guardians. They are guardians of each other. Whoever does
it calls us the wrongdoing people, and it says, take not them as guardians. Some say allies or friends, but it's basically saying make no friendships with us as like a people. But literally, 2 chapters ago, they were trying to say we worship the same God. So, it's literally now, it's not even them contradicting the Bible. It's their book contradicting itself at this point. It's just kind of madness. If you can get Surah An-Nisa, verse 140. Yeah, because I'm going to show another example of their book contradicting their own book,
He has already revealed to you in a book that when you hear Allah's revelations being denied or ridiculed, then do not sit in that company unless they engage in a different topic, or else you will be like them. Surely Allah will gather the hypocrites and disbelievers all together in hell.
So, now in this passage, it's literally telling them to not sit or have company or engage in like topics with us unless we're talking about something completely, non-spiritual. I guess like an application for this would be they can sit around and talk, sports with you, but you can't talk about like anything spiritual. But yet on Clubhouse every day there's like Muslims making rooms, to argue with, Israelites, the children of Israel. So, it contradicts itself. And here it's telling them to just leave those people alone and don't make company with them. But if you will, Baba Kashak, can you get Surah 2 start at 190? Because now we're going to see when that kind of changed in the Quran. Muhammad's, I guess his feelings towards us as a nation of people changed at some point.
It says 190, it says, fight in the way of Allah those who fight you, but do not transgress. Indeed, Allah does not like transgressors.
You can read through 193.
Yeah, that was 190. You want me to stop there?
No, I want you to read through 193.
Okay. 191. And kill them wherever you overtake them, and expel them from wherever they have expelled you. And fitna, who is worse than killing. And do not fight them at Al-Majid Al-Haram until they fight you there. But if they fight you, then kill them. Such is the recompense of disbelievers. Verse 192. And if they cease, then indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful. 193. Fight them until there is no more fitna and until worship is acknowledged to be for Allah. But if they cease, then there is to be no aggression except against the oppressors.
So, there we literally see them talking about, it's okay to fight until these people submit. Once we get them to submit, to Allah, it's okay now. Now we can be friends. So, it all hinges on us having to come into their belief system. So, or we're, enemies. Just like in the Bible told us that these two nations of people, I think I should bring this out. I know we know mostly in this room, but it already told us in, Psalms that Psalms 83 specifically, that these two nations of people would be our biggest two enemies. So I figured to do a lesson on this, to bring them both into the lesson, it would be a positive thing. So if you will, can you get Surah 1954 and read through verse 55? Because I'm about to land my plane on this.
So, okay, yeah, that's 51 to 65, and you want me to start at 51?
No. Surah 19, and I want you to start at verse 54. My bad, 54.
54. 19 and 54. And recite in the book the account of Ishmael. He was never true to his promise, and was a messenger, a prophet.
Well, one thing, you said never. It's ever. He was ever true to his promise. No, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to make sure they got that. No, you're good. Can you read verse 55 as well?
He enjoined his household to observe prayer and to give zakah, purifying arms, and his Lord was well pleased with him.
Con. Hey Ben, that's a spirit. You wanted to say never because it's Ishmael, so I get it. But yeah. Yeah, so now this is their. I want to now read their account of Ishmael in their book, because this studying, trying to research what they believe. This was the wildest one to me. Can you get Surah 37 and start at verse 100? I'm gonna want you to read all the way down to 112. Because in this verse, literally, what they do is they take the story of when Isaac was going to be sacrificed, and they flip Ishmael into the story. It's wicked as hell. Go ahead.
Verse 100. My Lord, grant me a child from amongst the righteous. Verse 101. So we gave him good tidings of a forbearing boy. 102. And when he reached with him the age of exertion, he said, O my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. So see what you think. He said, O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me, if Allah's will, of the steadfast. Verse 103. And when they had both submitted, and he put him down upon his forehead.
Oh, Salaki, can I pause right there? They oftentimes you'll hear Muslims say that Abraham was a Muslim. It's because of verses like this, and there's another passage, I didn't include it, but it talks about how Mecca, he took Ishmael, Abraham and Ishmael went and created the Kaaba stone and all. There's a lot of stuff in the Quran, but I didn't include that. So, but I just wanted to state that about why they say Abraham was a Muslim.
You want me to continue? Okay.
Yeah, no, you can continue. My bad, I didn't say it.
Verse 104. We called to him, O Abraham. Verse 105. If you have fulfilled the version, indeed, we thus reward the doers of good. 106. Indeed, this was the clear trial. 107. And we ransomed him with a great sacrifice. 108. And we left for him favorable mention among 10. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good.
You can pause there, because that you get the point here. But yeah, so they literally took the story of Abraham and Isaac and flipped Ishmael into it. So the Quran basically was their way of trying to rewrite the Bible, but write the Bible with themselves and their life practices included. I think it also should be mentioned that Muhammad's wife, Khadijah, she was a Catholic. So, he knew that was their religion and he needed one for him and, other people. So just wanted to bring that out. I thought that was interesting, that they literally changed the narrative of Genesis. So basically, to land my plane, Amalek created like their Talmudic version of being a Jew as a religion and associated it with them. I understand that Ishmael created the Quran to steal our customs from the Bible, and all of this was to blot us out from our memory as a people of who we were. And even this is discussed in like the Bible, outside of just like Psalms 83, but you even hear it in Daniel 11. I'm going to read verse 21. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but Salakia, wrong verse. Salakia. I'm at 14. It's like that. Here we go. And in those times there shall be many stand up against the king of the south, and also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fail. So the vision that they intended to establish was that they are the children of Israel, but as we know through studies and archaeology and history and prophecy, they fit nothing of a Bible. So I just wanted to bring this out today to just kind of go into that and show things in their books that contradict either the Bible or itself. But yeah, no, that's all I had for this.
Yeah, man. I just want to bring out, of course, Psalms 83 in reference to the lesson. I think you spoke about it. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 83, and I started to. It says, "For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken great crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against them thy enemies. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, that they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah." So, we always know throughout all of these nations, the three major ones, of course, the religion of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. We know that Amalek has taken our name. Ishmael or Islam have taken our rituals, and the religion of Christianity have taken our book. So, we know how they have divided, us as a people amongst themselves, and those are the three most popular religions in the world right now. So, I just wanted to add that in my something earlier.
No, Khan, excellent point. And since you brought that up about them taking our customs, I do want to read this because this does tie into that. This is page 49 of From Babylon to Timbuktu, and that actually is spoken of as well. It said Muhammad tried to construct his religion as closely as he could after the Jewish religion. He favored the Jews by accepting many of their laws and traditions. When the Jews refused to be converted, he commanded his followers to stop turning to the holy city of Jerusalem in prayer, but rather to turn to the city of Mecca. He changed the Jews' holy day of Day of Atonement, Salakia, which he accepted for the month of Ramadan. So he substitute, Day of Atonement for the month of Ramadan. He also substituted a lot of us keep it differently, but the Friday sundown to Saturday sundown Sabbath for Saturday to Friday. He moved it to Friday, so it would be Thursday sundown to Friday sundown for people following Islam. So, yeah, just wanted to bring that out as well, just to touch on like even more historical aspects of stuff they've taken, from us. But no, that's all I had.
So, yeah. So, Brother Mike, when will that was beautiful, beautiful lesson and also information that you ran down. So, when are you, when will be the next lesson of going about? I think you said it would be Saturdays at 1.
Yeah, Saturday at 1. I'm still working on what I want, Oh, yeah, and also let me say this as well. If anybody has suggestions or any topics that they'd like to hear brought out, definitely hit me, Ben, or Leo in like the back chat. I enjoy doing these, and I enjoy researching as well. So, yeah, definitely hit me and send me that information or whatever you want to hear.
And for time purposes, we turned off hand raising. Just for a second, anyone that wanted any information to be shared, you can via the back chats. You can also contact myself or Brother Leo, Brother Mike or Brother Leo as well. This is recorded and it will be on Brother Mike's YouTube and his bio as well. If you post it into the chats, if anybody got any questions, concerns, complaints, anything like that. This is added to the schedule. So basically, Mike goes into just research about these various topics concerning the Bible. And, like I said, this will be added to the schedule at 1 p.m. on Saturdays, roughly, going forward. So, with that being said, we're going to close out. Something else I wanted to add. Anything you wanted to add before we wrap up, Mike?
No. Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to add on that.
Hey, all praises for this, Brother Mike finally getting us to the Thy Kingdom Come platform. For all of y'all in the crowd that says, we never heard Brother Mike speak. Y'all was able to hear it on the platform finally. Brother's very thorough with his research. We thank Brother Miles, as always, always gracious enough to come and read. Brother Azriel, always gracious enough to come and help out. We look forward to them being able to work on some things with us on Thy Kingdom Come in the near future. So all praises to the Most High for that. Of course, we want to give all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And, we thank God for being able to come out to the first Godly Discourse Roundtable on Thy Kingdom Come. Make sure you're following myself, Brother Mike, Brother Leo, Brother Miles, Brother Azriel on the stage. Become a member of Thy Kingdom Come, nominate someone. Go down in my bio, follow all of the sister clubs. That's really it. And with that being said, we'll say shalom.
Hey, shalom, and Wiswell. Thank you, Miles and Israel, Father, for that thing, for reading.